Ladies and gentlemen, your sweet Zionist prince here, back with another video from the Holy Land. I am Tal, the traveling clat, your host, and today we got a clip by the genius and amazing Natasha Hausdorf. Let's take a look.
There is a critical rule of customary international law that determines the borders of newly emerging states at their moment of independence. It is called uti possidetis juris. It's applied universally wherever there is no agreement to the contrary. So it's the default rule. And in Israel's case, in 1948, it determined that the pre-existing administrative lines of the British mandate that preceded the State of Israel became Israel's international borders when it declared independence. This is the rule, that the pre-existing administrative lines become the new lines, the new borders of the state. And the reason that it was introduced was to promote stability and certainty and to prevent fratricidal struggles. The International Court of Justice outlined these justifications for it when it recognized that it had become established. It was introduced in the 19th century, applied in South America with the withdrawal of the Spanish. It's applied in Asia and Africa, also to the dissolution of the former communist federations. Ukraine's borders followed uti possidetis juris. And that's quite a critical comparison, because I think the three of us would agree that Russia has been in occupation of Crimea from Ukraine. Why is that? Because Crimea was part of Ukraine according to the rule of uti possidetis juris at Ukraine's formation. Well, in the same way, when Israel came into existence, the West Bank and East Jerusalem and Gaza fell within that territory of the administrative lines of the pre-existing British mandate. Now, that's critical, because immediately in this war of annihilation that I've described, Jordan occupies the West Bank and East Jerusalem from Israel, and Egypt occupies Gaza. And that occupation ended in 1967 when Israel recovered that territory. That's when this allegation of occupation for many people is dated from. The problem with that is you cannot occupy what is already your own sovereign territory.
I.e., if Ukraine was to retake Crimea and hold it, no one would say that was occupation of Crimea.
From Russia, yes. Indeed.
Right, okay.
And that is a stark parallel and comparison. Now, what Israel did in 1967 is it applied its law, administration and jurisdiction in full over East Jerusalem. It reunited the city, but it didn't do so in the West Bank. Instead, it applied a temporary framework. Why? Because under the Land for Peace formula, it expected that it would give up some of the West Bank, or Judea and Samaria, to Jordan in pursuit of peace. But when the 1994 peace agreement with Jordan finally came about, Jordan didn't want anything to do with the West Bank. So this temporary administrative framework that Israel established in 1967 held until the Oslo Accords and the creation of areas A, B, and C that we've described. But the application of this term occupation it's another blood libel, because it has no basis in international law. It is used as a political term. And the preface to it, this illegal occupation, which is so often referred to, is also only ever applied to Israel. There is no concept of a broader concept of illegal occupation in international law. And in all the instances, situations of real occupation in the context of which is envisaged by the Geneva Conventions, and the context of, the real transfer of populations in Cambodia, Vietnam, in Nagorno-Karabakh, in northern Cyprus, none of these cases has this allegation of illegal occupation or illegal settlements even been advanced. So this is another example of a modern blood libel being deployed against Israel in order to shape the discussion, in order to shape the international politics and diplomacy, in order then to put pressure on Israel. And we've seen the consequences of that, I'm afraid, in so many respects. This is what led to the 7th of October.
And that's the truth. Do you notice how many times around the world things are unfairly pushed against Israel and not condemned anywhere else in the world? I think that Israel at the moment across the world holds the #1 for the most UN condemnations and resolutions against it out of any other country on planet Earth. More than America. More than the United States of America. Now, you have to imagine that something nefarious is going on here, right? Something is. And it's the fact that for everybody who likes to imagine that there's a Jewish cabal underground controlling the world, there's an Arab Muslim cabal And it's not hiding. It's in front of your face. And it's making these rules arbitrarily because it hates Israel. For everybody who likes to claim that these lizard Jewish people are underground controlling everything, guess what, motherfucker? They're not. It's the Arab Muslims who are at the top in front of your face controlling them. But because, and I'll quote Elika Laban here, again, I'm not sure she coined this term, but I love using it. The racism of low expectations. You in the West and around the world are so racist. So very racist against brown people. You expect so little of them that you can't see the fuckery that they are doing in front of your face. You can't see the bullshactery, the bullshittery that they are doing to you in front of your face. Or you're so racist that you're willing to turn a blind eye to it. And that is racism in the modern day, ladies and gentlemen. Natasha Hausdorf is a queen, and I appreciate her standing up for Israel. She's amazing, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for supporting my channel. I love you long time. Goodbye, class. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.